Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ambassador's Lounge. 5 years after coming into power in August 2021, Taliban 2.0 have achieved something which their earlier version could not. They have survived, they have consolidated their power, but above all, they have prevented any substantial military threat or military challenge to their authority. Now, the real question is not whether they have survived or not, or how they have survived. The real question is, has the movement been able to transform itself from ragtag fighting force into a credible, responsible state? The answer is no. The regime within the country, within Afghanistan inside, the regime has has been busy in consolidating its power by adopting repressive and brutal measures instead of focusing on national reconstruction. The country is poorer, it is diplomatically isolated, the economy is in shambles, the system is repressive, and there is a gradual depletion of human capital. The Taliban may have brought order, but that order is not sustainable as it is not inclusive. On the foreign policy front, the Taliban may have achieved something. They have expanded regional interaction and they have managed to secure a formal diplomatic recognition from Russia. But wider diplomatic acceptance, legitimization is still absent. As regards bilateral relations with Pakistan, that is basically a twist in the plot. The relationship has downgraded from peaceful coexistence, friendly coexistence, good neighborliness to outright cross-border military conflict. Pakistan has always been an important regional backer, supporter of the Taliban. It has done that for decades. However, over the last few years, the relationship has taken a downturn. This is primarily because of Pakistan's frustration by the Taliban's inability or reluctance to rein in the TTP, which is a terrorist organization which has bases inside Afghanistan from where they plan and conduct operations, terrorist operations against Pakistan. The government of Pakistan has time and again demanded the Taliban to rein in, to curtail the activities of the TTP, which have accounted for the lives of thousands of Pakistanis. Yet Taliban have either been reluctant or unable to control the activities of the TTP. Resultantly, Pakistan had to resort to kinetic measures, and this has resulted in the degradation of relation between the two countries. I have my panelists with me, Ambassador Asif Durrani and Ambassador Ayaz Muhammad Khan. Above other things, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to discuss with these two gentlemen the reasons, the causes why the Taliban have gradually distanced themselves from Pakistan. After all, Pakistan did a lot to cultivate the Taliban. We sustained the movement, we provided the movement strength, yet the Taliban suddenly decide to distance themselves from Pakistan. Let's start. I will ask Asif Durrani first. Ambassador, my question to you is, 5 years have passed. Just an elementary question. I think you are the right person to answer that. What has proven to be the biggest difference between Taliban 1.0 and Taliban 2.0?
Thank you, Imran. Taliban 1.0 was that they were novice in the field. But after 20 years of war with the American-led coalition, they became, I think politically, they are much more better off. Mature word would not be appropriate for them, but from known political parlance, they don't subscribe to that, or perhaps they may not have the appreciation. But otherwise, when you talk about Taliban's rule, as you rightly said, the Taliban's rule is synonymous with poverty. So poverty graph has increased. And it is the biggest culprit in causing instability. And that is going to happen in Afghanistan. Same is the case with the non-inclusivity, because Taliban think that they are the final wisdom, and that has caused unrest within the Afghan society, especially among ethnic and religious minorities. And more importantly, we all know that more than 50% population has been cut off, I mean the women, and they cannot pursue education beyond primary schools. So these are the factors which, in fact, are not showing Taliban in good light. They are being criticized, and they are likely to be criticized, which is why that, except for Russia, no other country has given legitimacy to the Taliban rule and have not recognized.
Asif, they were in power before, the first version. Did they not learn anything from history?
I think
from the past?
They have a skewed view of the Islamic ideology. In fact, they are mixing the Afghan culture with Islamic ideology as far as, say, education of the women is concerned. OIC unanimously adopted a resolution calling upon Taliban to lift the ban on girls' education. So the collective Islamic wisdom has called upon Taliban, but they are sticking to their guns. So they have not learned. This is for sure. They have not learned. Had that been the case, they would not have repeated this mistake.
Okay. Ayaz, coming to you, mate. What we understand from what Asif has said, that the Taliban have apparently not learned anything. They have not matured with the passage of time. Now, do you think they are still hostage to their own jihadist ideology and their own jihadist network?
Well, certainly, yes. They're an organization which is paying more, which has always paid more emphasis on ideology rather than anything else, and their own interpretation of Islamic Sharia, as Asif said, which is certainly not subscribed by any learned corner of Islamic world. They have their own interpretation of Sharia. It may be a mixture of some Quranic verses, as well as and more heavily having a color from the traditions and culture of Pashtuns. Now, Taliban are actually suffering from victory paradox, if I may say that, because they swept through the whole of Afghanistan and they established their sway over the territory. There are certain gains, no doubt about that. Taliban have been able to establish more or less peace throughout the country. They have also been able to uproot the warlordism that was existing there. The toll that was being extracted from a common man, in terms of while the goods were being transported, from one place to another, things like that. But when it comes to the legitimacy question of Taliban, they certainly are loser there, because I do not know whether, I'm sure that they are shrewd enough to understand that legitimacy does not come from the kind of hardline approach that they have been, towing for the last 5 years or so, ever since they have come to power. But they have to understand that legitimacy is a bigger question, and that is what is preventing the development of the country itself. If they look at the balance sheet of their own rule for the last 5 years, they will. It is not a secret, It is not difficult to understand for them that the poverty has increased, economy is dwindling, certainly. People are starving there. There is no investment coming in. So which all goes with.
Yes, you're right, mate. You're right, mate, on this. But are they not still a hostage to the network which they had established, jihadist network, which was there before and on which they are still reliant? Asif?
I think it was not a network. They themselves, they have an organization. They have established their structure. They have a hierarchy. They are not, say, part of
There was more of a ragtag
no,
force.
but they are not part of the, say, Al-Qaeda or ISKP or other groups.
Okay.
When if I understood correctly as far as network is concerned. But within their own organization, they are following the discipline, and Mullah Heptullah is the final authority. So he can do and undo anything that is under his command, which is why that majority of the mullahs in the Taliban hierarchy are opposed to banning girls' education.
So there are differences within the organization, within the movement.
Of course, it's bound to come, and it is quite natural. Main thing is that Taliban, and this is my criticism to our policymakers, that how come we presume that Taliban will be friendly to Pakistan?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Reason was that you have seen that what happened after 9/11. One, secondly, it was their rigid attitude, especially Mullah Omar's, that caused the death and destruction to Afghanistan. And then what America did was not on its own, but it enjoyed the consent of the UN Security Council. It means the entire world supported that action, and that's what happened.
Okay.
So so this is what Taliban don't understand that. If you ask them, have you read Resolution 1368 or 1373, they don't know.
They wouldn't bother about
it. Most of them don't know. And then those who know, perhaps they won't bother about, because they don't have any other way to
exactly.
defend it.
Okay, mate, staying with you. You have interacted with the Taliban while you were special representative on Afghanistan. Now, when the Taliban took over in August 2021, what were their expectations regarding Pakistan, about Pakistan? What were they expecting from us?
Well, they want business as usual, let the TTP do whatever they want to do, but to continue with the business, continue with the visas, continue with that. So they thought that you should talk, and also fight. So this is what they wanted to tell us. This was not happening, and our policy.
So you mean to say this is the reason why there was why there was the relationship severed?
It did, and I think it's partly our fault. Because we should not weaponize trade. Because
Asif,
we have shot into our own feet.
We have discussed a lot about our policy. I want, mate, to understand what the Taliban were thinking about us. From their point of view, as I said, since you have interacted from them, I'm sure they did confide in you, or you have an idea of what they were thinking, how Pakistan should behave, how Pakistan should approach them.
They rejected our demands. We were genuine in raising those demands.
Which demands?
We did not harm the Taliban or Afghanistan for that matter. They cannot blame Pakistan for that. They are still the hub of different terrorist organizations. But on the contrary, they put the blame on us. For instance, ISKP is in Pakistan, as if Pakistan is, propping up ISKP.
But that did not erupt in 2021. This was not happening in 2021 when they came to power.
No, it was happening. It was going well. TTP were very much active then also. While they said the TTP has not started its actions with our arrival to power, with our coming to power. It was already there. And we were dealing with Ashraf Ghani's time. And Ashraf Ghani, in fact, had put many of the TTP guys behind bars. It was the Taliban who, when they came to power, they released them.
That's important information.
They have rejected, actually, whatever requests or demands we have made on the Taliban. So it means that they don't want to listen to us and to our genuine demands, not that we have been raising ungenuine demands.
Okay, I ask, coming to you and sticking to this point, do you think they viewed Pakistan as a selfless patron or a powerful neighbor who both assisted and manipulated the Taliban?
I think yes, we are partly to blame ourselves, certainly because our ideology or our policy of strategic depth was a gross miscalculation on our part, because we were assuming that once Taliban, on which we had betted everything, once they come to power, then it will be all hunky dory. You know, we will be having strategic depths in Afghanistan, without realizing that Taliban, of course, are Pashtuns, and they have their own ego, they have their own honor, whatever you call it, you know, but call it betrayal of Pakistan, you know.
So what were we? We were selfless patrons, or we were powerful neighbor who were trying to manipulate them?
I think we were investing too much in Quetta Shura, you know, when we were harboring this organization on our territory, on our soil for 20 years. We were investing on them, and then when they did not deliver the way we wanted them to, then certainly we fell apart, of course. But at the same time, I would say that that there is always a chance for diplomacy to play, and I think that diplomacy is the only way forward where we can engage with them, because the kinetic actions that we have taken have not really been successful at all. It has alienated us further. Taliban were not delivering, certainly. We have grievances against them, and which are quite legitimate, certainly. They have not paid heed to our requests, certainly about TTP and other organizations which they are harboring on their soil. But at the same time, the kinetic action that we took was a gross mistake, because we were not able to take out any of the leaders, you know, or eminent or important personalities of the terrorist organizations that we were going after. Resultantly, we killed lots of civilians, which, if whatever goodwill they had, because civilian population was also not very happy, or is not very happy with the way the Taliban are ruling, you know, with an iron fist. There are grievances, certainly, as Asif said, that, you know, particularly regarding women and all that. The way people are being flogged, you know, under the name of Sharia and stoned to death.
So in our relationship with Taliban?
So, yeah, I would say that we have, instead of solving the problem, we have aggravated it to a greater extent.
So sticking in our relationship with the Taliban, are we looking for partnership or dependence?
I think it will be again a big mistake if we are, you know, thinking even in terms of dependence of Taliban, you know, or Afghanistan on Pakistan.
Wasn't that our first thinking when we?
They are a sovereign state. They are honorable people. We should give them what is due to them. While we will continue to impress upon the Taliban, you know, throughout the international community, through international community or regional players whatsoever, that they have to take, you know, credible action against the organizations that they are harboring. But at the same time, we should keep them engaged diplomatically, because isolating them will lead us nowhere. Because they are losers, you know. I mean, in terms of economy, they do not know what statecraft is. And they have not really moved forward on this track, you know, for the last 5 years. So what do you expect that they are going to certainly, paying heed to your counseling, or you know, your military action will persuade them to undo what they are doing right now?
Okay, quick response, Asif. We have used trade, we have used refugees, deportation, border crossings. We have used direct attack as instruments of coercion. Yet TTP attacks from inside Afghanistan continue. Have we run out of options?
I think it shows the failure of our policy. We should adopt the diplomatic course. And
diplomacy has also failed.
You have to continue with it.
Correct.
You have to put your house in order. You have to neutralize TTP within your own territory. And I can assure you, those who are taking shelter in Afghanistan would become orphans. They will become irrelevant. They will become ineffective. Same is true of the BLA people in Balochistan who are also taking shelter in Afghanistan. But you can. And in fact, you have to make India In fact, you have to teach India a lesson in Afghanistan through taking good actions within your own territory by neutralizing the activities of TTP and BLA. And that is important. So here, Indian factor we should not ignore. That is very much there. It is spending a lot of money on TTP as well as BLA. Afghan-Taliban are also benefiting from that, not perhaps in the name of TTP or BLA, but it is because of these factors that Indians are also paying attention to the Afghan-Taliban. So it is okay with them. And if, say, we take kinetic actions, Taliban would be too happy because there are financiers like India, which will be very much readily available to finance that war. And Taliban have got enough experience to fight with the superpower, and they can fight with Pakistan also.
But fighting superpower was through other. There were the conditions were ripe. There were assistance from particularly Pakistan.
So here, I think it is all money. For Taliban, it would be money.
Okay, then, gentlemen, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Taliban's return to power was expected to bring peace and prosperity within Afghanistan. It was generally hoped that they would have learned lesson from the past and they would assist their own people and they would bring about stability and security within the region, encourage peaceful coexistence. Now, the war in Afghanistan may have ended, but for the people of Afghanistan, poverty, exclusion, fear remain deeply embedded in everyday life. The worst to suffer were the women who have been deprived, who do not have a place, a respectable, meaningful place in the society, and the girls who have been denied education, who have been denied opportunity for freedom. The future of Afghan women is uncertain, and this is going to deeply affect the social fabric of the society. Abroad, the Taliban demand recognition, legitimization. They want respect, they want trade, they want assistance, but they need to realize that these come with certain conditions. They have to show a responsible, mature behavior towards not only within their own country, but also abroad. The Taliban now have ruled long enough and they will be judged and they will be held accountable for what they have done. They are no longer an insurgency. It's a state which has certain duties and which has certain responsibilities, and they need to fulfill those responsibilities. Thank you for watching Ambassador's Lounge. Please subscribe to our channel and we'll be back.